my medical history, didn't ask if I'd ever had it.
Maria Cruz, a successful Filipino woman, entrusted her life to a fake doctor, Dean Faiello. He was drunk and high during her procedure. His negligence proved fatal. What happened next is unthinkable. Let us examine the disturbing events that led to Maria's tragic death. Who was Dean Faiello? Dean Faiello grew up in Madison, New Jersey. Ironically, his classmates at Madison High School voted him most likely to succeed when he graduated in 1977. With his handsome looks and approachable personality, Faiello definitely had a lot of potential to succeed. He went on to attend Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, but didn't quite live up to his high school prophecy. He left without graduating. After college, Faiello worked in construction before finding his niche at a day spa. Here, he honed his skills in hair removal. This experience apparently sparked a passion, and in 1996 he launched his own medical spa called Skinovations. Over time, he relocated to a few different offices in Manhattan, offering a range of services from laser hair removal to facials. With his handsome features and warm demeanor, Dean Faiello was able to effortlessly draw people in. As an openly gay man, he had built a reputation for himself as a friendly and trustworthy professional. These clients were unaware of the danger they were putting themselves through. The fake doctor's trail of deceit. In 1998, Dean Faiello was sharing an office with Dr. Lori Polis, a licensed dermatologist. Polis described Faiello as good-looking, strapping, well-spoken, and affable. Young man. Faiello lied to Dr. Polis, telling him he was terminally ill with AIDS and would be leaving for Florida. But Dr. Polis was deceived. Faiello actually stayed in New York and continued working, even advertising himself as a certified laserist in a magazine.
Are you bothered by this one over here, or
This
that one? It was small right there.
Faiello was using powerful lasers without proper training, putting patients at risk of serious harm. But that was not all. Faiello had a rap sheet with charges including possession of a controlled substance, forgery, and possession of a forged instrument. He pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor count and received 3 years probation. And if that wasn't enough, he even faked his credentials online, claiming a Master of Science degree from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. He also claimed to have a certification of a certified professional electrologist that had actually lapsed in 1998. As Faiello's web of lies grew, so did the danger to his clients. There was this article about Faiello in the New York Post on October 6, 2002. Next thing you know, he was arrested and charged with practicing medicine without a license. He got out on bail, but was told to stop treating patients. But he didn't quite follow those rules and kept seeing patients at some apartment in Manhattan. He was a ticking time bomb, waiting to unleash a tragedy. And then, Maria Cruz walked into his office, unaware of the danger that lay ahead. The tragedy of Maria Cruz. Maria Cruz was a 35-year-old financial analyst. She had it all, a successful career, a comfortable salary, and a bright future ahead of her. But on April 14, 2003, her life took a tragic turn. She failed to show up to work at Barclays Capital in Manhattan, and her colleagues and relatives grew concerned. As detectives investigated her disappearance, they found that Maria had last been seen attending Mass at St. Malachy's. She had then visited a makeshift office in a friend's apartment for a laser treatment. According to her family, Maria Cruz had sought medical attention from Dean Faiello for a mysterious black mark that had appeared on her tongue. Maria had no idea that the man she trusted with her health, Dean Faiello, was a fake with a shady past. He was a fraudulent individual with a history of deception, whose true nature was far more sinister than she could have ever imagined. Faiello had a history of run-ins with the law, including arrests for practicing medicine without a license and possessing a forged instrument. But he continued to see patients, including Maria, who had been impressed by his charm and bedside manner. Tragically, Faiello's incompetence and recklessness led to Maria's death. He administered an anesthetic drug incorrectly, causing her to experience severe side effects, including seizures and convulsions. Instead of calling for actual help, Faiello panicked and lied to his acquaintances.
He said that he could remove this with a laser, and he didn't say that he was going to do a biopsy.
His friends urged him to call 911 immediately. In the end, Faiello did nothing, leaving Maria's lifeless body in his fake office. His actions were driven by a desire to avoid consequences rather than a concern for human life. Faiello's interview reveals chilling details. In a shocking interview, Faiello admitted to being high and drunk during Cruz's final treatment, which ended in her convulsing and eventually passing away. Faiello attributed Cruz's death to an overdose of lidocaine, which he administered incorrectly. He also revealed that he had lied to clients about being a licensed MD, despite performing numerous procedures that require a license. After realizing Cruz was dead, Faiello callously drove her corpse to his home in Newark, New Jersey. He then buried her under a concrete slab in his garage. He described the process of disposing of her body as effortless and showed no remorse for his actions. Arrest, conviction, and sentence. Faiello was eventually arrested in Costa Rica on February 26, 2004. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison for second-degree murder.
Heard it right. I asked again.
But you're a doctor, so I can trust you. I don't have to worry.
However, many believe his sentence was too lenient, considering the severity of his crimes. Before being arrested, he had been on the run for months, trying to avoid facing charges for the death of Maria Pilar Cruz. Faiello had fled the U.S. in September 2003, just before Cruz's body was found buried under the floor of a house he owned in Newark. Greg Bach, Dean Faiello's ex-boyfriend, tipped off Detective Brian Ford after becoming suspicious of Faiello's involvement in Maria Cruz's disappearance. Bach's suspicions grew after a mutual friend shared a disturbing phone call from Faiello in April 2003, where Faiello claimed a woman had gone into anaphylactic shock. When Faiello fled, Bach searched the house. He remembered Faiello's secretive behavior while pouring concrete in the garage. This information led to the recovery of Maria Cruz's body from the property on February 18, 2004, and was a crucial break in the investigation. Faiello thought he could escape justice by hiding out in Costa Rica, but the authorities caught up with him. When he was arrested, Faiello tried to pull off a crazy stunt. He convinced a local couple to adopt him as their son, hoping to exploit a loophole in Costa Rica's extradition agreement with the U.S. But the judge saw right through it and denied the adoption. Faiello was finally extradited to the U.S. in May 2005. He was charged with second-degree murder and faced trial. During the pre-trial hearing, he admitted that Cruz had come to his office for a procedure on the day she went missing. In December 2006, Faiello pleaded guilty to first-degree assault and practicing medicine without a license. He got a 20-year prison sentence. On December 4th, 2006, he entered into a plea agreement, finally taking responsibility for his actions. In the interview, Faiello revealed his depraved actions, including putting Cruz's body in a suitcase and burying it beneath a concrete slab in his garage. He also described his time on the run in Costa Rica, where he lived a life of hedonism and was eventually arrested for overstaying his visa. Faiello lived life to the fullest while Maria Cruz's body lay dead in his garage. He showed no remorse for his actions. On the run in Costa Rica, Faiello indulged in hedonism. He partied and enjoyed himself, unfazed by the tragedy he caused. His arrest for overstaying his visa ended his twisted game. But the damage was done. Maria Cruz's life was cut short by Faiello's negligence and deceit. The judge called Faiello's actions senseless and depraved. His enjoyment of life while a woman lay dead in his garage is a chilling reminder of human depravity. He spent his time behind bars at Attica Correctional Facility in New York, but didn't quite serve out his full sentence. After 17 years, Faiello was released on parole in early 2022, leaving many to wonder if justice was truly served. He is now working as a maintenance man at a grocery store. He has apologized to Cruz's family publicly for the first time and hopes to make amends for his wrongdoings.